All right, could James Harden be out in Brooklyn? The Nets superstar is very displeased with things going on within the organization, and he could be on the move, maybe as soon as the trade deadline this year, more likely in the offseason. I'm going to break down everything going on with the story. There's a lot of moving pieces here, but if you could first, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, share this video with your friends. It really helps the channel out a lot. We are growing like crazy. All right, Harden's $270 million call will shape the NBA, how it could play out, and what this means for Simmons. So for those of you who don't know, report came out this week that James Harden is very unhappy with the situation in Brooklyn. The big three, this was going to be the new end-all, be-all of the NBA. Harden, Durant, Kyrie. It was unfair. Just give him the title now. Has not panned out like we thought it would. There's been injuries. There's been this. There's been that. There's been a lot of drama. And that's what sometimes happens with these cats, man. A lot of weird cats in Brooklyn. They're not necessarily the most normal basketball guys. So things fall apart way sooner than we believe they were. The reports were, first of all, this is easy. James Harden hates living in Brooklyn, and I don't blame him. New York's a shithole. And I say that. I love New York. New York's my city. My family's from New York. I love that town. But, man, things have really fallen apart since the pandemic. It's a terrible place to live. The taxes are awful. And when you're making as much money as him, you don't want to pay any of those taxes. You want to pay as little taxes as you have to because it's a shit ton of money. Terrible place to live these days. And he's used to living in Texas. I live in Texas. Texas is the best. I get it. Everybody loves Texas. It's a great place to live. There's so much to do. Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, wherever. Texas is great. So it's just, I get what he's saying for. The taxes are way lower, all that good stuff. It's just a very different situation after all those years in Houston, which I don't blame him for. Apparently, he don't love the cold weather either, and it gets real freaking cold in New York, not so cold in Texas. So I don't blame him. He went to Arizona State, he's not a cold weather guy. So that makes all the sense. And he's really been frustrated with Kyrie Irving being unavailable. Kyrie unvaccinated, refuses to get vaccinated. I don't blame him with the mandates in New York. They don't make any sense. Road players unvaccinated can play. Players on the Brooklyn Nets unvaccinated can't. It's very weird, but that's what it is. He's very unhappy about that situation, that he's not going to help things out there. He's been having to shoulder the burden. Durant's inconsistent. He's always injured. So Harden's actually played more games than Durant's played in the last two seasons, which is shocking, honestly, for the Nets, which is shocking, because Harden was traded early last year, and Durant's been there for like 3 years now. But yeah, Durant's unavailable. Kyrie's only available for road games, and he's having to shoulder the burden for this team. He is the 4th seed in the East, but they have much higher aspirations. They have a title. They are title or bust, this team. It makes total sense here. But the rumblings are out now. There's some conflicting reports that he loves the team, he loves this. Another big issue is the coaching staff. Steve Nash. He has not been happy with Steve Nash late game play designs and his rotations. Makes sense. This was a knock on Nash. Nash never been a head coach, didn't have really any coaching experience in the NBA when he got this Brooklyn job, and it seems to be showing. James Harden's a high basketball IQ guy, and he's very he sees it. He thinks he's not happy with it. It's just not good in Brooklyn. That's how these things tend to always be. But what could this mean for Ben Simmons? Now, Ben Simmons is a head ass, and he doesn't want to play for the Sixers anymore because he's a crybaby. I don't know what it means. He's not going to play. Sixers are determined to get a top 25 player for Simmons. And Daryl Morey is the GM for the Sixers. Daryl Morey and James Harden are two peas in a pod. They were together in Houston for those great runs with the Rockets. So this is a natural fit for him. Problem is the Nets and the Sixers are in the same division. It'd be really tough to see an interdivision trade, but the Nets are pretty steadfast on not trading him this season. They're going to play out this season, go for the title, but I totally believe this is his last year in Brooklyn, especially if they get bounced early like I believe. Who knows who's going to be available for them in the playoffs? It's really, really something. The Sixers is your play you need to make. You can get Simmons, maybe a 3-team deal. It's a really big package. The Rockets turned down the package that they were going to get for James Harden in the first place. Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle, who's had a monster season this year, really come into his own, one of the best defensive wings in the game, and 2 first-round picks. They instead took 4 first-round picks and 4 pick swaps from the Nets, which has really turned out to nothing. The Rockets really didn't get shit. That was really stupid for them. But Ben Simmons isn't playing. The Sixers are determined to get him dealt. They said they're going to wait till this summer, but you could really, really use to get him traded beforehand. Maybe you add some key role players, a really good depth, a lot of players to pair with Embiid. Embiid is having an MVP-type season, and the Sixers could be a serious contender out of the East if you can get some help for Joel Embiid. He's been doing it all by himself. It's going to be a hard stretch to see Brooklyn directly trading to Philadelphia. Sign and trade is most likely. The free agent market's not going to be there. There's only like 3 teams with the cap situation that can sign him. It's like Orlando, San Antonio, and Sacramento, I think. So that's probably not going to happen. It's going to be a sign and trade. And the Sixers would offer you that package today that they offered the Rockets to Brooklyn for James Harden. And maybe you just cut your losses here. Now, you never know if you're Philadelphia. Maybe you're making a move for Dame Lillard in Portland. I know he's out there. Maybe you can get Ben Simmons shipped out this year. They want him out because this is the time to make a run. But James Harden's situation is really, really getting ugly. I don't want to say ugly. It's getting very rocky in Brooklyn. I don't think he's going to be playing for them anymore. It was Detroit, not Sacramento. There you go. Detroit, Orlando, and San Antonio are the only cap teams available here. So it's really, it's a very rocky situation in Brooklyn. Harden feels like he's carrying the load by himself. He's the only one reliable. Durant's out well past the All-Star break. He's by himself to keep this team afloat. The minutes have always been a problem with James Harden. He fades late because he plays so many minutes and he plays so hard during the regular season. He's got to cut back, and he thought Brooklyn was the spot where he'd be cutting back, and it doesn't seem like that. It's a really frustrating situation for him. I totally get it. He wants to win a title. It's big on his career. It's big on his legacy. Win a title. He's always been known that falling flat. I think James Harden is still a great player. He's not necessarily the player he once was. He's not the MVP he used to be. Great point guard. You pair him with another guy that he play 1A, 1B with. Really take team to the next level. I think James Harden has championship potential. He's changed his game so much with playing with the Nets. He's turned into a great point guard. He can facilitate. He can score. Gets to the rim as good as anybody. Doesn't necessarily draw the fouls like he used to, but hey, it's the new NBA. I'm glad he does it. I would be shocked if Harden is back with the Nets next year, especially if they don't make it to the NBA Finals. They get to the Finals, maybe they can, fix this thing a little bit. If they win, it's especially easier for them. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Where's Harden going to go? Should the Nets trade him? Should we get a signing trade going? What are the Sixers doing with Ben Simmons? Is this going to be a move? Are they ever going to get him traded for a good player? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, share this video with your friends, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.